Meghan Markle took part in a panel discussion at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, last week. In the conversation, which focused almost solely on problems of hate and misinformation being spread online, a couple of comments were made by Meghan talking about her security concerns for the kids Archie and Lilibet in the UK. She noted that the British royal family had refused her request for armed security for the children while in the country yet had provided it to other royal family members. Meghan told the panel, "I think it's really simple. Whether implicit or actual, security everywhere his member of the royal family is. Most of the fear was with regard to the safety of my children if there's no security for them." She went on to say that the decision not to provide security made no sense to her. These comments from Meghan understandably caused a bit of controversy and backlash in the UK. She was condemned by many for constantly complaining about insecurity and going ahead to insinuate that the royal family was being unreasonable. Critics say they would not be entitled to taxpayer-funded security as non-working royals living in California. It's interesting to hear, but now we get information on the reaction of Prince Harry to the words of his wife about the safety of children in the UK. According to the journalists, the security concerns Meghan raised against SXSW Southwest were laughed off by Prince Harry. One insider said, "Harry is said to think Meghan's story is a loaded one. How can he affirm she felt unsafe when he never experienced anything to make him feel that way?" Some assistants also opine that if some of the unarmed officers helped to keep a presence when they visited, it could have been easily relieved in a similar ratio. Another source added that while security issues were real enough, the way Harry is understood to have been taken back by the vehemence and continued emphasis on personal attacks regarding this kind of publicly aired gangly against the royal family. Not gone down well at all, this one. There is an attitude from the whole of the royal family that these sorts of interviews need to stop for all concerned. So, in effect, Prince Harry seems to have felt that some of those more sensational claims made by Meghan regarding the alleged threats to her safety were exaggerated or overblown. Sources say he felt that her story about the lack of security was too flat, lacked perspective. He might have felt that low-key security arrangements could very well have taken care of any safety issues, and his kids would have been with their mother anyhow, while he was visiting family in the UK. Insiders, however, point out that Harry gets why Meghan is so unrelenting in continuing to talk about this stuff so publicly. As an American, she may not fully grasp the subtleties of British culture and protocols around the royal family. Of course, it's to do with their own sometimes savage experiences and criticisms from the tabloid press. Years of racism directed at Meghan is something that so many people can relate to. So, while some of the claims Harry makes are laughable, sources added that he does not want to give further ammunition to his angry wife by attacking her points of view head-on. He wants to remain supportive even if privately feeling her story could have been told with more balance. But, according to the general consensus across the royal quarters, this is just the kind of high-profile interview that continues to stir unwarranted drama. However, other experts said that Harry is also conscious of the commercial dynamics at play, especially with the lucrative deals that both of them have nailed with Spotify and Netflix, which revolve around speaking out on issues. These sorts of appearances, from a business point of view, serve to highlight security threats mentioned by the royal family, generate headlines, and lead to attention brought to their brand. So Harry appeared to be walking something of a tightrope here, privately feeling that some of the claims that Meghan was making lacked perspective, but not wanting to publicly undermine her. He understands both her motivations and the financial incentives at play, even if the royal family would prefer the couple not to continue courting trouble by granting a raft of repeated media interviews. Some criticism has also been directed at Harry himself, with sources alleging that he laughed off Meghan's concerns. Critics will say that it shows a lack of credibility for his wife's lived experiences, and more importantly, it points to how committed he is, in real terms, to stand against any perceived injustice or racism. Some said it was an understandable private reaction to overblown claims from a spouse, even if he remained publicly supportive. An insider was quoted saying that Harry has never experienced any of it for himself to feel this way, as Meghan was making out. This moderate view, of low-profile protection instead of full-time protection paid by the taxpayers, is a reasonable suggestion. So, in a nutshell, even as one lot of the sources said Harry was privately laughing at some of Meghan's latest statements, he was publicly continuing to back her up. But those ongoing round of interviews are said to irk the royal family and do little for healing relations said to have been damaged on that side.